have with us another observer. This time around, Mr. Kenneth Okoeneme, Governance Coordinator, Action Aid Nigeria, and a member of the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. Thank you for joining us on The Verdict.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Oh, well, we have a few more hours to go, so it's actually good morning. All right, so the tension just might be high and thereabouts, mixed reactions about, how this process will go. But earlier, we had the former Liberian president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, give a thumbs up to INEC. Do you share in this?
Over the last week, I think what has been the case has been one of cautious optimism. That cautious optimism is a function of what happened, the previous week. But with what INEC has done in terms of communicating with Nigerians, it has tried to, bridge that trust gap that, what happened last week caused. And again, you would agree with the former Liberian president because, first and foremost, she talked about the resilience of Nigerians, the fact that Nigerians were patient. And, of course, for me, I think it's one issue around the option that we had. And it's about the fact that this is our country. We have an election to run, and whatever the challenges are, we have a responsibility to work together towards making sure that that election holds. And what that means is that we need to give INEC the sort of cooperation it needs, the sort of trust it needs, and at the same time asking the critical questions, because what happened the other week just came upon us because there was no communication with Nigerians. And if one thing is certain and have been learned about what has happened over the last 1 week is the fact that we need to make our processes, our electoral processes, more transparent, more accountable. And so if we have such a situation where citizens, have an idea of where issues are, where preparations are. Because, of course, these challenges that we face with the electoral processes are not new. Chike talked about it in 2011, in 2015, and now 2019. The same thing happening around postponing of the elections, and mostly around logistics. And we also know, looking at the history of our elections, that these are challenges that have refused to go away. But I think with what has happened, it's a turning point. That Nigerians really engaged this process in the last 1 week, and which I think is the thing for Nigerians to do. Engage the process rather than resign to, we are used to always complaining. But this time Nigerians took it upon themselves to follow through, with INEC, to hold it accountable. And INEC on its own part, have been, as much as possible, being transparent and open about it all. With the last briefing of the INEC chairman, he seems to have told us that, yes, INEC is ready to go. There are isolated cases of logistics challenges, but just as I said, those are isolated cases. So what is left now is for Nigerians to go out, but at the same time, as we said earlier in our conversations with the media, is that the minimum Nigerians expect, looking at what happened last week, is the fact that they expect INEC to run a better election. They expect INEC to have learned its lesson. Nigerians were patient enough to say, okay, you've given us a week, take that week. And so, hopefully, INEC has been able to deal with those challenges that made it postpone the election.
Do you see a situation of voter apathy happening, especially after the elections was postponed?
From our conversations with our observers in the field and talking to friends and, monitoring the media, that seems not to be the case. Nigerians have stood firm that they are going to vote. And you can see it going around the streets of Abuja, for example. The whole place is almost empty. People are going back home. People are going to where they've registered to vote. There are incentives by airlines, transport companies, state governments, to lessen the burden on people, because we cannot run away from the fact that the postponement of the elections last week actually had its own economic implication on individuals. We can talk about the implication on the economy of the country, but on individuals. A lot of these people who have traveled are people who live below the poverty line. If you draw a nexus between the number of Nigerians that are living below poverty line, which is around 90 million, and the number of registered voters. So if you look at that, then you should appreciate the fact that there will be financial challenges, difficulties with people trying to go and exercise their franchise. But again, that has not deterred Nigerians. Everybody you speak to seems to be, on the front foot. People are geared up and are ready to vote. And the best thing we can do, the best thing INEC can do, the security agencies can do, and everyone who is involved in the election, is to create the right environment for people to vote so that Nigeria can move forward. Nigerians are, they are desperate to see things happen, to see processes change. And the postponement of the elections draws into sharp focus the need for Nigerians to begin to get it right with even public service delivery. And the only way we can begin to make those statements is through the ballots, because the election provides the opportunity for citizens to evaluate leadership and at the same time also interrogate those who are seeking mandates. And so for Nigerians, whatever challenges they had with the postponement of the elections, I think it's not enough for them to sit back to say we are no longer voting. The voting dynamics is changing. Nigerians are beginning to realize that their votes will count.
Even in the same vein, we saw impressive statistics of PVCs being collected, especially in hot spots, in regions where we know that they're experiencing a lot of problems, challenges, and all that with security. And so do you see this as a step forward?
Just as I said earlier, it's still a testament to the fact that Nigerians are more, how do I put it now, are more politically conscious in terms of how can they make change happen. And one way to make change happen is by casting their votes, by participating in the elections. Because as I said earlier, election provides the opportunity to evaluate leadership and also interrogate what people are putting on the table. But just to add that, yes, we have collected our PVCs, we are going to vote tomorrow, but Nigerians should remember that after the election, that's when the real work starts.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth Okoineme, Governance Coordinator, Action Aid Nigeria, and a member of the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room. Thank you once again.
Thank you.